Hello everyone, this is Amar Sheth at Sales for Life. Welcome to the Social Influencer Series, where we bring you some of the biggest and most well-known thought leaders and influencers in the world of social media. And look who we have with us today. The face should be no surprise. It is none other than Mr. Julio Viskovich. Julio, how are you?
I'm great, Amar. Thanks for having me, man. It's always a pleasure to get a chance to chat.
Hey, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. I know the audience will really appreciate your insights. So thanks for that. So for those that don't know Julio, I think you've been living under a rock for probably the last little while. You need to really just Google his name and you're going to see probably 88 million search results. So we won't spend this time, boosting his ego. No, I'm kidding. We're really just going to get down to brass tacks. And Julio, please tell the audience a little bit about yourself, your professional journey, and why don't we start there?
Sounds good, Amar. Yeah, I mean, it's been quite the journey for me. So really kind of got into the sales industry really hard about 5-6 years ago when I started working with Microsoft at the time. Transitioned from there over to Hootsuite about 3 years ago, and that's really where I really dug my teeth into social selling and really started to blend real sales methodology with social media, which was pretty amazing. So I got to hone my skills there, really take a crack at social selling, roll that out with the team over at Hootsuite. And it went so well, and social selling has been such an amazing thing that it was now time to start my own gig. And then I started Next Level Sales, and here I am.
That's awesome. Congrats on Next Level Sales, by the way. Wish you nothing but the best on that. Julio, I guess, where I wanted to kind of take this conversation was, what's your take on social selling adoption? Let's not kid ourselves. It's super low right now. Being in the space we're in, I would say we have less than 1% global sales penetration with social. Are we still in awareness? Are we still in education? Are we with resistance? Where are we? What's your take?
That's an interesting question because I think about it every day. It's true. We're in that sort of really early adopter phase, I guess, still kind of working into the mainstream part of the cycle. What's happening is folks are still navigating on, how do I bring this in? Sales kind of naturally or, historically has been sort of resistant to change because they're the revenue generating folks in an organization. And obviously it's kind of hard to be A/B testing things when you're looking at your revenue generating team.
Well said.
So where we're at now is, it's starting to prove itself out. People who have done it, some of the big giants like your SAPs, Oracle, Salesforce, those guys, they've proven it out. And the data is telling us that, this is the way to go. Empower your reps to get on social. So I think we're going to see a big change in 2014. I think we're going to kind of hit that mainstream curve towards the end of the year, and we'll see a lot more adoption this year.
Thank you for that. So you mentioned a lot of big names there, right? Oracle, SAP, Salesforce, etc. Do you think that the mid-market, the SMB primarily makes up the bulk of the entire workforce? Why is the resistance, maybe resistance is not the right word, Julio. Maybe it's the stick-ativity of cold calling. Why is it just so bloody hard to convince people that there's an other way to generate sales?
Just because it's, it just goes back to, sometimes it's difficult to teach an old dog new tricks, and not to be cliched, but, you get in a rut or you get in a habit of doing things, and sales leadership right now, they've been trained on all the same methodologies, a lot of the same courses of action that they take. And right now, that's what they're stuck in. So it's up to them to sort of take a step back and see that there's other ways of doing things. So oftentimes right now it's 1 or 2 people on a sales team that are sort of pioneering the process and are kind of diving into social and using it. And they're seeing success. And those are the folks that are, creating a more human connection with their buyer and whatnot. So it's those folks that are helping prove it out and kind of getting sales leadership on board. And that's what I kind of see happening these days.
So I guess in short, it's a bottom-up demand, right? Where it's not, the demand is really not, the interest is not coming down from chief sales officers or chief marketing officers on down. It's happening more from, hey, I'm the sales guy, I really want this, we need to do this.
Yeah, right now it's sort of bubbled up organically like that. However, I think this coming year we're going to see that change, and I feel, and I really do, that it's going to be more of a top-down approach. I think that
Wow.
social selling as an initiative is going to be on every sales leader's mind this year. I think it's been proven out, and that's what I'm excited about, because I think this is the year we're going to see it actually get pushed from sales leadership down.
Talk to me about, talk to me a little bit about the successes that you're seeing in the market, without giving any details away, and we don't want to compromise anyone's, intellectual secrets here, but talk to me a little bit about some of the successes that you're seeing, that your clients are seeing, that salespeople are seeing.
Yeah, like the successes now are coming from salespeople now creating an emotional connection with the buyer. Now, that was something that wasn't really happening over the last little bit. There was a lot of cold calls going out. And now what I'm seeing is people across different industries utilizing Twitter, utilizing LinkedIn to actually connect emotionally with the buyer. So one of the things that I always kind of push and talk to or talk about when speaking with sales teams is leveraging video. Video is something that's, I think, really going to make a big splash in 2014. And, having a video, maybe 30 seconds to 60 seconds for each sales rep that they can put on their LinkedIn profile allows them to grab the heartstrings of the buyer and emotionally connect with them, which I think is so huge. And it also allows the buyer to see the value that you're giving them. So just a small 30-second video that you can put on your LinkedIn profile is generating tons of leads and tons of sales right now. It's creating that emotional connection. So if I could say what I've seen over the last few months that's worked with me and some of the folks I've worked with, I really think that video is an amazing piece of content that every single sales rep can utilize to their advantage.
Yeah, really good observation. I'm seeing the same thing on our end, Julio. We're working with a very large, I'm not going to give the name away, but they're one of the largest staffing companies in Canada. And two of their sales reps they're so excited by it, and they're jumping into video because there is another guy in England doing virtually the same thing he's cleaning house right now. The amount of the inbound funnel that this person in England has created is absolutely astonishing. And
I believe it.
yeah, I'm not surprised you say that. So video is really key. Okay, one last question. I know you're busy, so we're not going to keep you forever. But one last question I wanted to ask you was, where does marketing fit in all of this? What's the nexus between sales and marketing as sales becomes more social?
Great question, Amar, and that kind of leads me into a term that I've sort of been attempting to coin lately, and that's called sell-arketing. And that's a mixture between sales and marketing, and that's what I feel needs to exist for social selling to actually be beneficial and to be efficient and to be successful. You can't expect, think of a team like Oracle, for example, who has 25,000 sales reps. You can't think that you can empower them each to go out and create their own content, to find funnel stage content to share with the buyers, to push them off their status quo. That's where marketing needs to come in. So marketing needs to now work with sales leadership like never before. There needs to be a marriage like never before. And they need to work together, meet once a week or once a month at the very least, and figure out what types of content the sales team needs. Looking at things like the trust barometer that Edelman's put out each year, people aren't trusting marketing anymore. They're not trusting advertising. They're trusting human people attached to the brand that aren't necessarily or don't necessarily have too much to gain. Third-party advocates. So that's why it's so essential in marketing, or for marketing, to empower salespeople with the right content to get out there and humanize the brand. And that's where I see success happening between sales and marketing.
Really well said. Julio, any parting words for the audience? Primarily salespeople are going to be watching this, and they're probably sitting on the fence or maybe not sure on if they should be doing social selling. Please leave us with some words of inspiration.
Definitely. Well, social selling is such a fantastic thing, and the data is proving it out right now. We're going to see large-scale adoption over the next year. And, for salespeople out there, This gives you a chance to do something that you could never do before. If you think of the standard sales cycle or process, what happens is normally you're going to reach out, touch base with them, and then have a period that's dark. Now, what social selling allows you to do is actually remove that dark period and touch base with the buyer in times that you could have never touched base with them before. So between connections, between emails, now you can stay top of mind with your buyer. And that's really what I think social selling brings to the table, and why every sales rep should at least think about dabbling in it.
Excellent. Julio, thank you very much for your time. Once again, Julio Viskovich from Next Level Sales. Please check him out. Please check out his website. If you're not following him on Twitter, you're in for a treat. Follow him there. And Julio, thanks again very much. And maybe we can recap end of the year and talk about 2015 trends.
I'd love to. Thanks very much.
Thank you, my friend. Take care. Have yourself a great day.
Cheers.